Hi there. And welcome to this Cumulocity Connector tutorial. In this tutorial I will show you how to set up and use a Cumulocity Connector application. To start with the installation of the Cumulocity Connector app and performing the device registration, following tools are required. Cumulocity Connector application. Phoenix Contact PLCnext device. Web browser. SFTP client. And Cumulocity IoT platform. First we need to download Cumulocity Connector app. To do this, open your browser and enter PLCnextstore.com. Now, log in with your credentials. Enter your username and password. Then click Login button. Now search for Cumulocity Connector in the search field. Select Cumulocity Connector and press Get It button, then download the file. After the file has been downloaded, we can install this app on PLCnext controller. I'll show you how to do it in the next step. Our application has been successfully downloaded. Now we will install the app on our PLCnext controller. For that, start your PLCnext device and connect the PLCnext device via Ethernet with your computer. Then, open the web browser and enter the PLCnext device URL. For more information on establishing a connection to web-based management, please look at the official WBM documentation by Phoenix Contact. Please, log in with your username and password. On the administration panel, select the PLCnext Apps tab. Then click on the Install App button. In the file explorer that opens, select the Cumulocity Connector.app file and wait until the installation is completed. Our app was successfully installed. In the following, we will set up app configuration, and it is recommended to create a separated user, which will be used by the app to communicate with the PLC device. It is important that this user has the admin role to have full functionality. For this, select the Security tab and press User Authentication, then press the Add User button. Enter the username you want to use and password. Finally, click Add button. Now select Edit User to give the user administration rights, check the admin box, and then save it. Now we need to start the app so we can access the config templates. After proper configuration, the app must be restarted. We can start the application by pressing the Start button. The app status Run is indicated in the column App Status. Now connect to your PLCnext device with SFTP client. Enter the IP address of the controller, username, and the password. Move to the folder OPT, PLCnext, Apps. There should be folder with name of Cumulocity Connector App ID. Inside this folder you can find Config Templates folder. Go into the folder and copy application.properties and logback.xml files. Now, go to OPT, PLCnext, Apps Home, Data. There should also be the folder with name of Cumulocity Connector App ID. Paste copied files into this folder. There is no need in modifying the logback.xml file since it holds the default logging configuration. In contrast to that, the application.properties file must be adapted. In the next step, we will configure our application.properties file. For that, please open the file. First, we have to enter a valid Cumulocity platform address. If you do not have Cumulocity IoT platform yet, you can sign up for a free trial. For this, open your web browser and enter cumulocity.com and complete the free trial registration. After that, we need to define the Cumulocity device name as well as the Cumulocity device identifier. We choose for both the same value, PLC-device. To enable the app to communicate with the PLC, we need to configure a user and password for the RSC communication. We use the previously created user for that. If you want to protect this information, there is the possibility of using the decode tag, so the app will decode this information at startup and it is not stored as clear text anymore. The app will encrypt this information on the fly if necessary. The last element mandatory to configure is the encrypted flag. You need to know if encryption for the RSC gateway configuration of the PLC is on or off. You could look this up in the risgateway.settings file on the PLC. In our case, encryption is true, so we enter true here. Besides these mandatory configuration, there are also some optional fields which could be set. This section contains additional information which will be added to the Cumulocity device object, like device type, hardware model or revision, serial number, geographical position, and a response interval. In our case, we just go with the example values from the template. The last section contains optional configuration parameters for the RSC communication. If you have excessively changed the RSC configuration on the PLC, you might need to enter the proper values here. In our case, we do not need to change this, since we are using the default RSC configuration from PLCnext contact. Now we are done with the configuration and we complete this by saving the file. After that, we have to restart the app. In web-based management, by pressing the stop button. And then pressing the start button again. Now, log in to Cumulocity Cloud account. On Cumulocity tenant page, find the application switcher in the top right corner of the Cumulocity dashboard. And go to Device Management. Then expand the Devices tab. In the left-hand menu, go to Registration. And click Register Device. Choose General Device Registration. In the Device ID field, enter the device identifier. Configured in the application.properties file. Click Next. And then click Complete to finish the registration. Cumulocity IoT is now waiting for the device to start communication. Since we already have the Cumulocity Connector app running, a pending device acceptance should be displayed soon. Click on the Accept button and the status of the device will change to Accepted. Now we have integrated the device, and here in the All Devices section, we see the device with the name we have just integrated, PLCnext device. If we click on the device, we can see detailed information on the device. Per default, we are here on the info panel. In this info panel, you can see the device status. It is highlighted here by the two green arrows. That device is fully connected. Additionally, you have even more information, for example, about device data illustrated here. You can see previously configured device name, device type, and also like hardware and software revision numbers. Also, the geographical location is visible here, so this page gives you an overall overview of information about the device. In the alarm section, you can see all alarms activated for this device. Currently, there is no alarm, since there is no alarm active. There is one alarm that will be created per default if the connection of the app and PLCnext controller is disrupted. The following is a demonstration of the PLC disconnected alarm. This alarm is automatically cleared if a communication channel is established again. In the configuration panel, the device-specific configuration file can be submitted to define some data which should be fetched and stored on Cumulocity. We will have a closer look at this later. In the controls section, we have like an overview of all controls which we have been performed for this device, for example, configuration update or device restart. In the event section, we can see all events present for the device. Per default there is one event, created when the connection of the app to the PLC was established. This is here, the connection to PLC was successfully established event. In the location section, we can see the current geographical location, where the device is located. You can see here that we are here in Hamburg, Norderstedt. Potentially you can also click on the edit button to update the geographical location if you want. In the service monitoring section, you can see the availability of the device for the last 24 hours, 7 days, and 30 days visualized in pie diagram. In the identity panel, we can see external IDs present for the device. The app will automatically create one identity with tag C8Y serial and will have an identifier as an external ID value. Now we want to have a closer look on the configuration section. Here we have prepared one example configuration file, which highlights functionalities and possibly signal mappings. So we here defined mapping, where we have a port, and this port in the message about like alarm, so it is a string, and we say for this port, if we read it, we want to have event mapping, and in this event mapping we defined Cumulocity event type, also Cumulocity event text. In the text section here, we have also specified placeholder $brackets value and $brackets time to insert the value of the message and also the time when it was read. We always have by every mapping the possibility to define overridden sampling rate, which is here set to 10 seconds, so this signal will be fetched every 10 seconds and the event will be created. Also, we have here another port which is representing an alarm and this in a boolean value. For this, we want to create a Cumulocity alarm, so we have here an alarm mapping specified with specific text and this alarm will be active if the counter threshold is reached. It is the type of counter critical and severity is also critical. More overview, we have also two signals here. We have a port which defines the counter and a port which defines the sinus. For both we have created measurement mapping and this measurement mapping can define unit, type, fragment name, and series, so we have here not specified a specific sampling rate or overridden sampling rate, therefore global defined sampling rate of 1 second is used. If we send this device configuration now, Cumulocity operations created for that, and we will see here that the operation was successful and now, we would also see here the first operation in the control section, which was successful. If we now wait a little bit and we refresh also here the page, then we will get the measurement section. Here in the measurement section, we can see now the values of the counter and sinus. If we now fast forwarded, we will see here nice counter which will be going up, reset and go up again and so on. And here in the sinus, we will see a nice sinus wave. For this counter, we have enabled one alarm. If the threshold counter value is reached, we should see the alarm active for that. If we switch to the alarm section now, we can see a critical alarm representing the counter threshold reached. It will be active until this alarm cleared on the PLC again. We will wait until the counter has been reset. Then the alarm will vanish. Now we can see the alarm has vanished. The last thing that we defined was an event, so here in the event section, we can see the counter status with flag message and also when was read this value. This was basically a demonstration of how you could fetch your signals on the PLC, which under global data space, how you define mappings, how to fetch this, and how this will be mapped to Cumulocity. Another thing to show here is the possibility to restart the whole PLC device. For doing this, you can just click here on More and click on the Restart Device button. The proper operation will be created here in the control section. The operation was green. We can now wait until the whole device restarted. Also the app will be automatically restarted by that, and then we will see in the event section That PLC connection was established. After that, fetching and storing events, measurements and alarms will be activated again. This was the demonstration on how to use all features of the Cumulocity Connector application. Thank you for your attention. Please do not hesitate to contact us for any further information.